Welcome to this session on macroeconomic stability. The whole essence of this session is to figure out, don't forget, the whole theme of the summit this year is shifting gears. And shifting gears does imply significant change. And so as we kind of meet around this issue of macro stability in the context of shifting gears, there are three conversations that we are going to kind of break up to have. There is going to be a conversation around economic growth. A conversation around economic growth. Whether we like it or not, if this economy doesn't grow and grow rapidly, but rapidity is not the only thing. Yes, rapid, sustainable, inclusive, but also competitive. Now, in a sense, you could argue, well, it won't be rapid if it's not competitive. But as I'm sure you know, Nigeria has in the past grown without enhancing competitiveness. Nigeria has in the past grown without reducing poverty. How do we grow as an economy rapidly, inclusively, competitively, job creating, and poverty reducing? In our estimation at the summit, Nigeria must aim for at least a decade of consistently high growth, not lower than 7%, but preferably 10%. So that's the growth target. And so the challenge that the conversation today must try to meet is essentially saying, if we're going to try and grow 10% per annum for a decade, what do we need to do? How do we generate this growth? What are the imperatives of this kind of sustained, sustainable, poverty-reducing, competitive, all those nice adjectives? So that's the first piece of the conversation.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Chiwe Agwim. I'm an economist at FBI and Crest Merchant Bank. And we're going to start with economic growth. So the first question I'll be throwing out is, if we are aiming for a minimum annual 10% inclusive growth for a decade, what will be the conditions for generating and sustaining growth?
From my point of view, as one of those 200 million people, I think that the biggest problem we have why we're not growing are issues that are self-inflicted. One of it is bad policies. So bad policies, what do I mean by that? So I think some records and data have it that today there's about $17 trillion of money worldwide that is being invested at either 0% returns or negative returns. So imagine people putting a lot of money in the bank with the understanding that they will get less than what they put in. And here we are in Nigeria with very decent returns. Potentials to make double-digit returns almost anywhere you turn. Why is that money not coming here? And my answer to that, with the much I know about the Nigerian system, is that our policies, our laws, and regulations are everything they shouldn't be almost.
When it comes to macroeconomic stability, we have bad manners. Putting it very bluntly. And worse still, we think we can get away with bad manners. That is, this is Nigeria. We are different from others, so you don't tell us what to do. You are talking like that and you want the person to send money to you. So we must come down from our high horse, and I'm talking to the government people in this room. We must step down from our high horse and understand that we're actually, capital-wise, a poor country. The people we are talking about, just in one industrial park in Ethiopia, they signed a check of $2 billion, which is probably the aggregate of what is not up to 10% of whatever. So my major intervention is that whether you are talking infrastructure, whether you are talking of manufacturing, whether you are talking of SMEs, which is where this growth will come from, we need money. Nigeria has capacity to absorb and manage, but we don't have, our banks can't finance that type of growth. Forget all the sovereign wealth fund and all those funds. Thank you.
What I've discovered about Nigeria is, like other people have said, we need to walk the talk if we are really serious about an economic growth that will create jobs. Number one, maritime and shipping industry alone has been quantified to be worth about $90 trillion, 90 trillion naira, which that can fund Nigeria's budget for 10 years. And for over, even before I was born, for over 6-7 decades, it's been the same story. So why can't we focus on this industry? Also, under the last administration, power was privatized, and it was worth about 5 trillion power economy. Banks invested into it and all that. There were about 12,000 manpower gaps there alone. And General Electric and other investors were telling Nigerian government the kind of manpower that is needed. Nigeria never listened to that. And we wasted some years, and now we are back to it. Now the long and short of it is, can we just take 2 or 3 core industries outside oil and gas and focus on it for the next 10 years? And ensure that as we are making these reforms, we ensure, just like the Chinese, that every job within the value chain, every contract, every service being rendered is rendered by Nigerians, to ensure that every money that we are spending as a country and every job we're creating goes into the hands of Nigerians. If we can do that, maritime and shipping, power and energy alone can take this country out of the ruts in 10 years.
My own idea, if we want to get rapid growth, we need to level the playing field for all categories and sizes of businesses.
How?
Procedures, entry criteria. If you want to get access to finance, what are the criteria? Are these criteria easy for those small businesses? The procedures. So we have procedures, we have criteria. We need to go back and look at those criteria, those framework, and make them give a level playing field for every kind of businesses. And these things would work.
We've harvested quite a number of ideas. We will kind of reflect on them and try and put them in a manner that you will find acceptable by tomorrow. Thank you very much indeed for your time.